Hey guys, what's up? Welcome back to 31 Days of Pomp-o-Ween. The day has finally come. I've eaten so many eggs that I became one. Welcome everyone. If you're new here, then hi, my name is Pompberry. Today, unfortunately, no, I am not going to turn myself into an egg. If you're not new here and you watched yesterday's video, then thank you, I appreciate you. But also, you will know that I did Maleficent, and I couldn't resist and I couldn't just do one Disney villain, so today I'm gonna be doing the evil queen from Snow White. This is also another look that I've always wanted to do. I think she is gorgeous. I think she is the fairest of them all. So as you can see, I've already done my foundation and I've already covered up my eyebrows. That's why I look like an egg right now. If you don't know how to cover your eyebrows, I will leave a tutorial linked right up here. I have a whole separate video on how to do that. So yeah, let's get this party started. But before I begin, please don't forget to like and subscribe if you haven't already, and be sure to hit that bell button right beside the subscribe button to get notified every time I upload. This month, I will be uploading every single day. Yes, there will be 31 videos. Today, we're on day 19, so there have been 18 other videos that if you haven't watched, you should probably get on that. And I also did Pomp-o-Ween last year too, so there's another 31 Halloween looks that I did. Also, I'm wearing this little hood thing that makes me look even more like an egg because it's really hard to get into without completely messing up your makeup. So I put it on before I did my foundation actually. So yeah, I'm gonna have to wear this the entire time and it's already itching and I already want to die. So it's gonna be fun. Today, I think I'm not going to go 100% faithful to the original drawings because she literally had blush all the way down to her jawline. Don't believe me? Yeah, it's pretty intense. And she has no contouring or anything like that. Obviously, it's a Disney cartoon. They're not super realistic in terms of coloring. They are super realistic in terms of the animation, but not the coloring. So I will be incorporating a little bit of contour and maybe tone down that blush a little bit. But not so much. She still needs to look rosy. But we do have very different face shapes. Her face is much more like a heart shape and the hood helps. And this one that I've got doesn't really have the deep point that hers has. So I might actually paint that point on my forehead with some black paint once I'm done. But to change up my face shape a little bit, I'm going to do some contouring. And I think I'm going to go in with the Fenty Beauty matchsticks in the color Amber. And I'm just going to tug back my little hood because I don't want to get any makeup on it. And I really want to go for like chiseled cheekbones. Just gonna blend that out, but I'm doing the contouring in like a diagonal line. Taking some more on my brush, and I'm using the small end of the brush so that I can be more precise with the application. And then I'm starting to curve it down, kind of towards my chin. She doesn't have like super high cheekbones the way Maleficent does. She has more of just like a straight face. It's a very slim face, but it's not so much about the cheekbones. Then because I do have a long chin, I'm going to contour it to try to minimize it a little bit. I'm also going to contour my nose with this. And the brush I'm using is the Huda Beauty Face Sculpt and Shade brush. I got this with their Tantour, which is their cream contour product. And it's a really handy brush for contouring, I must say. I normally don't like dual-ended brushes, but I really like this one because you can just like switch sides and just contour your whole face very easily. She does have a very, very straight nose. And I'm kind of bringing this contour onto where my eyebrows start, just so it extends the bridge of the nose a little bit. Then I'm also going to do my forehead a little bit. Even though it's being covered up with a little hood, I still want to contour it a tiny bit. And then I'm also going to contour right under my bottom lip. Not too much, just a tiny bit, because she has a very specific lip shape, and I think this will just help to emphasize it a little bit. Next, I think I'm going to move on to the eyes. I just like having my skin done before I start anything else. I think it helps to visualize the whole look. So her eyeshadow color is a very, very particular shade. It's kind of gray, but a tiny bit purpley, but not really. Some people interpret it as a light purple, but it's more gray than it is purple. And I actually have a shade that I think is bang on, and it's from the NYX Ultimate Cool Neutrals palette. It is this shade right here. Doesn't know if it's gray, doesn't know if it's purple, doesn't really know what's going on. This is our guy. She has a very specific eye shape. So I'm going to use a flatter brush to apply this so I could be more precise with my application. I'm just going to pack it on my lids first. I think this color is bang on. And Snow White was made in the 30s. So you have to think that the makeup reflects the makeup of the time. And also it reflects the limited abilities they had for actually animating makeup. So it's very much a wash of color on the lids and a very, very defined brow. Then she also has that shadow right under the bottom lash line, but very, very close to the lash line. This might even be a little much. Whoops. And then the shape of her eyeshadow, it's almost like a teardrop. So it comes up on the crease, but just on the outer corner. It's basically like a teardrop shape, like if a teardrop was on its side. You don't want to blend it out too much. It's very much like a block of color. I'm using a little pencil brush to help get the color right here so that it really flows like a continuous shape. Then once that shape is created, I'm going to take the Sauce Box Nocturne palette and I'm going to use this color right here. And that is going to be for the new crease. She has this almost like an unblended stripe all along the top edge of her eyeshadow. And I'm just using a small pencil brush to apply this. And you really don't want to blend this out. Nothing in this look is soft or blended except for the blush, and that's it. Everything else is very much like harsh, sharp lines. And you want to make sure you emphasize that shape. And this creates almost like a new crease. To help with the illusion of that crease, I'm just going to take my Lunatic Cosmetics Contour Palette Volume 1, and I'm going to take this color, and I'm just going to apply it into that crease in the inner corner. Just lightly blend that out. Don't want to darken this new crease too much, but I do want to add to that illusion. And I think I might go back in with my first color and just really emphasize it along the edge. I feel like it's gotten a little bit lost. Now I'm going to move on to brows and then I'll go back to the eyes later. I'm going to start by mapping them out with an eyeshadow on a little tiny brush, just so I can get kind of the shape down. And then I can go in with a gel liner. And her eyebrows are very intense. They are very close together and they arch a lot. They're very much a 30s brow. They're super, super thin. I'm going to start it pretty low so that there's even more impact with the arch. I kind of just want to map out where they're gonna go. And then they are very, very curved and then downturned. I feel like that's the shape pretty much down. Now I'm going to take the NYX Jet Black Gel Liner on that same little brush. It's the Essence Precise Liner brush. It's my favorite brush to do brows. And I'm going to draw the brows for real this time. And I might go in with a liquid liner just so that I can make them super, super precise, because drawing over a brow cover-up, you end up getting these like little ridges, which I don't want. Probably could have gone just straight in with the liquid liner, but anyway. Then I'm going to take the NYX Epic Ink Liner. It's an eyeliner pen with a brush tip applicator. And let me get close so you can hopefully see this better. I don't want to make my brows any thicker. I just want to fix up what's there. Just want to make it more precise. Can you imagine penciling in these brows every single day? Her brows are thicker at the start, just a slight bit like that. Now I'm going to take my Nocturne palette again, and I'm going to be using the lightest shade. And I'm going to highlight the now brow bone. So obviously my brow bone is down here, but I want to give the illusion that it's all the way up here. So I'm going to highlight it to make it stand out. That actually might not be light enough, but let's use that as a base. I'm going to take my contour palette again, and I'm going to take this pale yellow, concentrate that close to the brow. I take a pencil brush to really pack this on. I'm going to do blush and lips before I finish off the eyes. And I wish I could use this product on my cheeks. So if you don't know, there's a brand called Besame. They specialize in replicating vintage makeup, but with a modern formula. And they had a whole Snow White collection, and I still regret to this day not buying the palette because the palette was composed of colors taken from the actual movie. And this blush is actually really, really special. It is the exact shade they used on Snow White. So back in the day, all the colorists were women at Disney, and they couldn't get the blush on her to look quite right. And then one of the colorists decided to grab her rouge out of her purse, and she used it and she dabbed it onto Snow White's cheeks, and that's what they used in the movie. They used actual rouge on Snow White. And so this is an exact replica of that blush that they used to color in Snow White's cheeks. Now, if I were doing Snow White, this would be absolutely perfect. But the Evil Queen has a much more pink tone blush. This is very much a red coral blush. The Queen's cheeks are pink. So unfortunately, I can't use this, but I just wanted to give you this little tidbit of information because this is one of my favorite products I own just because of the story. For blush, I'm going to be using the NYX HD blush in the color Baby Doll. This is a very, very light pink. Her blush tends more bright pink like this. I don't particularly like pink blushes, but for the sake of accuracy, this is what we're gonna do. And the placement is really, really odd compared to modern day blush placement. She basically starts where you would contour and then it just goes down. It takes up the lower part of the cheek, which is really, really interesting. So I'm going to place it lower than I normally would, kind of concentrating it there and just blending it downwards. This is very much not a modern blush placement, but it is very characteristic of the Evil Queen. So I know I said I wasn't going to do it, but I'm kind of doing it. It also comes up on the sides of the face a little bit. And I think to intensify it a little bit more, I'm going to take the NYX Ombre Blush in the color Codebreaker. And this is a more bright, bright pink. And I'm just going to apply that on the apples of my cheeks. Now, I don't think that this blush goes with this eyeshadow at all, but we're doing the damn thing. Now I'm moving on to lips, and I'm kind of really, really excited about this because she's got a really interesting lip shape, but she also has a dual tone lip. So her upper lip is a different color than her bottom lip. So I'm super excited for this. For my top lip, I had to swatch a few different reds and corals to get this just right. Hopefully I will succeed. But for the top, I'm going to go in with this red right here. It is the Inkavolation Maraschino, and this is a liquid to matte lipstick, which I'm kind of happy about because that makes drawing in the lip shape really easy. I love drawing my lip shape just using a liquid to matte and a small brush. And she's got a very wide Cupid's bow that is very typical for the time. They used to widen out the Cupid's bow, and then her outer corners are also exaggerated, so they go beyond the bottom lip. Lip shapes and brow shapes are very telling of a decade. That's how you can usually spot what era a makeup is from. And this lip shape is very close to what they wore in the 40s, so you can tell it's from the late 30s. If you watch old movies or shows, you'll notice that the Cupid's bow was very much widened out. And then the bottom lip is outlined with the same color as the top lip. For this, I'm going to use the Makeup Forever Artist Color Pencil in the color Full Red. And as I said, the lower lip is drawn smaller and narrower than the top lip, so I'm not going to start at the outer corner. And it also has this wide, curvy shape to it that the top lip has. Then I'm going to take the NYX Liquid Suede in the color Life's a Beach, and I'm going to apply that to the bottom lip. That way the bottom lip is almost red, but it's not really. I really love this little detail about her makeup. I don't want the bottom and the top lip to be completely disconnected though, the way they are now, so I'm just going to take that pencil and connect the corners. And I'm just redoing the outline to make sure it's still quite visible. I actually don't know if I'm a fan of this brow bone highlight situation, so I'm just taking a slightly darker color just to tone it down a little bit. Sometimes we do things we regret, and that's fine. We can fix them. It's just makeup. I'm going to pop on some green contacts so that I can finish up the eyes, and then we'll be almost done. Okay, the contacts really do make a big difference. Now I'm going to tightline my eyes. I'm using the Milk Makeup Longwear Gel Liner in the color Boss. It's the black one. I'm going to line my waterline, and I'm really going to work it into the roots of my lashes. And I'm tightlining the top too. I'm also going to take that and run it as close as I possibly can to the roots of my top lash line. Then I'm using the smudger on the other end just so that it's a more uniform line. I just want to really bring out the lash line. I'm going to slightly thicken the outer corner just so it adds to that elongated shape. Now for mascara, I'm going in with the Milk Makeup Kush Mascara, and I'm going to apply this to my top lash line, and I'm going to direct my lashes pointing outwards. I don't want them pointing straight up. I want them to go sideways because all the emphasis is on the outer corner of the eyes. I don't think I'll be applying any mascara to my bottom lashes, just to really accentuate that shape. If you do mascara on the bottom lashes, it rounds out the eye a little bit more. Now for lashes, if you want to go for a more modern lash, I would really recommend the Sugar Pill Lullaby lashes. They are the perfect shape. Let me kind of nudge so you can see. They have that like one little wispy one at the end, and she has that flick of her lash at the very edge. And let me just quickly just place this on my eye so you can take a look. This lash is one of my favorites. It looks absolutely gorgeous, and it gives that effect that it's bigger on the outer edge. But it is a very modern lash, so I don't know if I want to wear it because I did go pretty traditional with the rest. So instead, what I'm thinking of doing is taking a little half lash and placing it on the outer corner, and you get that sweep that she has. And she doesn't really have lashes on the top, she just has that outer corner. Now this one obviously looks absolutely gorgeous. It really frames the eyes beautifully. It really lifts up the eyes, but this looks way more traditional and in keeping with the rest of the makeup, but you know, you have options. I'm going to go ahead and pop on these little lashes, and then I'm going to put on my outfit, and I'll be back to show you the finished look. Actually, before I get my costume on, I forgot that I wanted to accentuate this peak right here. So I'm going to take some black wool face paint, and that's just because this hood that I have, it's got a little tiny peak, and hers is much sharper than that. Just going to take a liner brush. This is a paintbrush, it's not a makeup brush, and I'm going to draw in that peak. And then I'm also going to take that and I'm going to change the shape of this part, just trying to make it match hers a little bit more. Ideally, you wouldn't have to do this. Ideally, your hood would be the right shape. But if you get a costume from Party City like me, and you want to be super accurate, this is one way to do it. Okay, now that this is sorted, I'm going to go put on my costume, and I'll be back to show you the finished look. And this is the finished look. I wish I had the apple or the box or any sort of props, but I don't. This costume is pretty dope though. I mean, it is from Party City. I got it off Amazon, but it's got a really cool collar. The crown could be a little better, but you know, not bad. It's not bad. I think this is pretty cool. This is one of those characters that you can't go wrong. It's one of the classics. And yeah, it's just an excuse to have a badass collar. Like, when will I ever get to wear anything like this ever again? So yeah, her makeup is super simple, and it is reflective of the decade it was created in, which I think is really awesome. You can really see the evolution of Disney throughout the years. The way characters look now are completely different to what they used to look like back then. So I personally like to throw it back to the classics. I love period makeup. I love studying the way beauty changes throughout the decades, and I feel like this is very much a study on that because she was the fairest one of all till Snow White came along, and she was the fairest one of all with these damn brows, so it goes to show you something. I hope you really enjoyed this video. I had a lot of fun doing it. I really hope you're enjoying Pomp-o-Ween so far. Let me know what your favorite look was so far. There's still many to come, but there have been quite a lot up till now. If you haven't watched them, then click here to go to the playlist and you can watch all of them. So I'm gonna let you get to watching the other videos. because I know that's what you're going to do right now. And I do want to thank you so much for watching. Thank you to all my patrons who support me and who made Pomp-o-Ween possible. And don't forget to tune in tomorrow for another day of Pomp-o-Ween. I'll see you then. Bye.